Okay. Okay. I'm liking what I'm seeing. What's good, y'all? What is good in this building? All right, let's do the shout out so we can go ahead and drag. I'm glad y'all came. Thank you so much. Latifah Wood was here. She says she has something to do, so she'll be back to watch the replay. Kama is here. Latasha Ramsel's here. Who else do we have? Lexi's here. Monohina, always in the building. Healing Arts. Girl, when you get back up here on this panel, thank you for coming. Live Life is here. Cat's here. Pretty Goddess is here. Trinity is here and up on the panel. Yes, Carefree and Self-Care. Let me tell you something about that horned demon that you're referring to. The one that killed his baby mom, wife, whatever you want to call it. He didn't care who she was. So killed her and killed the little girl and tried to kill the little boy. Yes, I saw him. Happy Father's Day, huh? Saw that nut job. Merlot is here. Latoya De Salil is here. Deb Bowers, Mina Hughes, Pink Vanilla Kiss. I still like that name. Satin Dolls here. Who else do we have? I appreciate y'all so much for coming, honestly. Y'all make the goddamn day go by quick. All right. If you didn't hear your name, you're going to see your shit come across the board. This is getting ready to be a long weekend, y'all. Why, you ask? Well, it's because Zaddy has given them another fucking holiday to celebrate. Technically, today is Juneteenth. Y'all mark my words. Watch how many murders, killings, and shootings happen this weekend. You got Father's Day. Who's the most celebrated person in the community? Black men. So they're gonna be celebrating them and their newly found holiday. So this holiday weekend is going to be bodies everywhere, and we're gonna come back next week and count them. Because why? The Black community cannot have a safe weekend when we have a goddamn holiday. Elle, what you got on this? Because I got a presentation we fixing to do.
Hello, everybody. What I
Hey,
got on that is fuck these nothing ass motherfuckers.
he's so silly, girl. Jojo, what's up, honey bunny?
Hey ladies, how y'all doing?
Awesome.
Good.
Hey,
What you got?
I'm just ready to get on. I'm just ready to get on with the presentation because I already know what you
You
about to
already know
do.
what's in the Okay, let's do the Father's Day presentation. All right, let me share my screen. Father's Day, my ass. In Blackistan? I don't think so. I'm already seeing the post. And I'm going to tell y'all something about the post in a minute.
uh-oh.
Okay? Father's Day in Blackistan, quote unquote, the most involved fathers. This demon faced bitch right here, his name is Gregory Green. Is anybody familiar with Gregory Green? Either of you, are y'all familiar with Gregory Green? Because I'm getting ready to tell you how
No,
awesome of a father he is.
I haven't
Oh,
seen him before. What's his story?
I'm glad you asked. Well, Gregory Green in 1989 met a beautiful lady by the name of Tanya. She had 2 kids from a previous marriage. So now they got together. He married her and got her pregnant. Everything's good, right? Well, actually, not. It's not good because he decided that he wanted to kill her while she was pregnant, stabbed her to death, went on the porch, called 911, told him to come get this bitch, quote unquote. Now, that was in 1991. He,
What?
it gets better. His mother, his father, and his sister was writing to the parole board. So he only did 15 years for this shit. Okay. Even the civil rights activists in Detroit, not Detroit, in Michigan, were coming to help him out. With that being said, he was paroled. Okay. Then guess who he started dating after that?
A
The
Bekeisha.
the preacher's daughter, the civil
The
rights activist.
preachers. Oh
Now,
no.
let me tell you, the preacher and the daughter are fully aware that this motherfucker had killed his pregnant wife. But in Blackistan, you deserve a second chance. The new lady, the new wife, her name is Faith, Faith Green. She had 2 kids from a previous Dusty, just like his first wife did. And then they had 2 biological kids. He was always an asshole during that whole marriage. So what ended up happening is she asked for a divorce. Well, Mr. Green here, he don't like that shit. He don't like when bitches want to do what they want to do. He want to make sure he's controlling the situation. So therefore, he went on ahead and took his biological children, put them in the garage in the car, and gave them carbon monoxide poisoning. Took the wife downstairs in the basement, tied her up in zip ties, and then her oldest 2 kids, he brought them downstairs and shot them execution style in front of her. Let's watch a little clip of what the deal is with him.
Whew.
The most involved fathers. Hell yeah, they the most involved. Are you kidding me?
they're straight demons. Like they're the devil.
You ain't lying.
And you know why that preacher girl got with him? Because she thought that she was going to be treated different. Oh, maybe it was her. Maybe. That's how they think.
Yeah, they do. Everybody think that black men can be reformed, but I hate to break it to you. You ended up getting all 4 of your kids killed because you think a Dusty can't do no wrong. But let's go here.
Glenda, it is simply unimaginable. Chadney Allen Sr. lost his only children, allegedly killed by a man who tried to use an insanity defense in 1992 when he killed his wife and unborn child.
My daughter was beautiful, cheerleading, and She had her head on her shoulders, and my son was a graduate. He was doing things, he wanted to be a producer, you know. He had high potential. Yeah. I just felt like I lost all my, you know, I never knew that it would end so soon like this.
Chadney Allen Sr. cannot believe his two children, 17-year-old Kara and 19-year-old Chadney Jr., are gone. Police say their stepfather shot them both in front of their mother to punish her because she wanted a divorce and he suspected she had been cheating.
I know they were calling for me. I know my daughter. They was wishing I was there to help them.
Dearborn Heights police say Gregory Green also murdered his own biological daughters, 6-year-old Coy and 4-year-old Kaylee. Green's brother claims the children's mother, Faith Green, knew her husband murdered his first wife, Tanya.
Like I got hit by a semi-truck because I had no idea that guy was who he was.
I was totally just numb.
We talked on the phone to Monica Johnson. It was her cousin, Tanya Green, who Gregory Green murdered in 1991. Tanya's oldest daughter, Danielle, hid in a closet. Her youngest, Bridget, had cerebral palsy and was not injured. But Tanya was pregnant with Green's baby when he stabbed her to death.
The last stab when they still went through the baby's heart, and that's what actually killed the baby.
The family was devastated a second time when Green was only sentenced to 15 years in prison.
I hope he never sees daylight again.
The father of two of Green's latest murder victims wishes he had known that Green murdered his first wife and unborn child.
I don't even think any punishment could fit the crime. If we had the electric chair, I would want him to fry.
And in 1992, Gregory Green's own mother asked the judge for leniency in that murder case. She said, quote, "I don't believe a long sentence will make him any better because he has suffered already and will continue to suffer for the rest of his life." She died several years ago, never knowing he would be charged again with the same crime. Reporting live in downtown Detroit, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.
All right, Kim, thank you. And we all.
Did y'all hear the mammy, his real mom? I don't think that him being in jail for a long time is going to do anything. Let my baby out. Okay? He got out and murdered his next wife. There really is no redeeming a person that's going to kill a pregnant woman. I don't give a fuck what kind of counseling they went through. That was your personality before you started acting an ass. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to change. He murdered a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people, including the unborn baby. Happy Father's Day. Now, let's go over to the other maniac. And believe it or not, y'all, he's worse than the first one. If you could get any worse than the first one.
This is disgusting.
Please don't say that. Oh, God.
Yeah, Gregory Green is mild. It's completely mild compared to this motherfucker I'm getting ready to show y'all now. These most involved fathers. Not this one. We'll go back to the video in a second. Are y'all familiar with Marcus Weston?
Yes.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me go to his little fuck face ass.
He had a whole lot going on.
Yes, he did. All right, get your dick sucker out of here. This thing here. Is this the guy you talking about?
Yep.
Okay, Marcus Weston. First of all, y'all, that's a hotep. That's a hotep.
It's always the hoteps. And he looked like a sloth. He is so ugly.
Let me tell you what Marcus did. Marcus lived in Fresno, California, where he began dating a Hispanic woman. Hotep. Dating a Hispanic woman. Well, I guess that wasn't enough for him because when the Hispanic woman, 8-year-old daughter when the daughter turned 8, he took that child on as a child bride and began sexually assaulting her and her little sister at that point. So since the little 8-year-old is his wife now, as she got older and started ovulating and having her period, of course he got her pregnant back to back to back to back to back to back. Well, the story gets worse. He had a few daughters with her and began molesting them and had children with them. So we got a whole lot of incest, sexual assault going on here. The way that he was caught was the fact that one of the kids went to school and they didn't look nourished enough and they started investigating the family. So the police came to the house. This idiot boarded up the whole goddamn house and started shooting them babies, stacking their bodies up in the corner. By the time they got in there were 9 people shot. Let's listen to his family. I told you he was worse. I can't stand these motherfuckers. Share audio.
Because I'm not sure what we have, but there's some type of David Koresh type guy inside the house, and he's holding his family hostage and he's armed to the teeth.
Tonight, much of the country will learn about a crime that's all too familiar to all of us here in the Valley. The Wesson family murder case and the family secrets that contributed to it will be revisited on national television. 6 years ago, Fresno became the scene of a notorious mass murder. Marcus Wesson is now on death row for killing 9 of his children.
His victims included kids he fathered through incest. In a primetime special called Family Secrets, the stories of the surviving Wesson family members, including Wesson's now ex-wife Elizabeth, will be told. Action News reporter Cynthia Rose joins us with more on why the family agreed to share their story and how they're doing now. Cynthia.
Well, Warren and Graciela, Elizabeth Wesson's divorce became final 2 months ago. She says that was a symbolic closure for her. Marcus Wesson was a controlling part of her life since she was 8 years old. Her family story is the focus of an hour-long special about how she and her children survived decades of mind control and how they're moving forward now. Elizabeth Wesson says she didn't even begin to see the deep scars her former husband left on her and her children until several years after the horrific crime.
It feels like I'm coming out of a fog or something, like, and it's just it's taking me time to get to where I'm at. It really has.
Tonight, Elizabeth and her 5 surviving children share the pain they endured under the constant control of convicted killer Marcus Wesson. Elizabeth says her family opened up and spoke candidly with correspondent Jay Shadler about what they did to cope with extreme physical and sexual abuse.
This is the first time ever they verbally expressed what they were going through. And it's going to be hard for me to watch, very hard.
The twisted life the family led under Wesson's domination came to a halt in March of 2004 when Fresno police arrived at a domestic dispute at the family's central Fresno home. After a brief standoff, officers walked in to find 9 bodies piled in a corner, all shot to death. The murders ended a family secret the group hid for years, a life of beatings, insults, and incest. Even today, sharing the way they existed is difficult.
You don't want to do that.
The questions, I wasn't prepared for the questions that they were asking, but I tried to answer as honestly as I could. And it brought back a lot of memories that I really don't want to remember, really.
As part of the story, the family returned to places they lived with Wesson, like Tomales Bay in Northern California. Although the family almost always lived together, they were isolated from the world. The journey reminded Elizabeth of the emotional scars her children will always carry.
Seeing the pain on my children's faces, because after we did the filming, it took us about a week or 2 to get over that. It's really painful.
The first Fresno police officer who arrived at the scene that day also talked about his experience. Eloy Escareno was the first to enter the home and confirm what other family members had already assumed.
From that officer to the family members, it's hard to imagine how deep the pain runs in all of them. It's just unfathomable.
And tonight is going to be much more revealing and much more in-depth.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia.
Please don't be confused, y'all. That lady that y'all saw talking, who was the quote-unquote wife, that's his actual wife's daughter. That was the 8-year-old, that fully grown woman. It started when she was 8. Okay? So those are 2 of how many thousands of stories about these dads. Can I get a mammy to tell me at least he was there? At least he tried? People deserve a second chance. Can I get any of that same bullshit? Or are y'all gonna go ahead and admit this is some fucked up shit?
What's funny to me is that the black community will say, to black women, oh, well, you should have chose better, or you're choosing these men. But what's funny is that when these men go to their quote unquote preferences and exoticals and the mixed breeds, it's funny how when they go there, they also ruin families. They also cause generational trauma. A lot of these hoteps and other random black dudes like to talk about generational wealth. Now, let me tell y'all something. The only thing that black men pass down is generational trauma, generational poor, poverty, basically, stuff like that. But it's funny how when it's a black woman involved in situations like this, it's, oh, well, she should have chose better, and we need to stop generalizing brothers, right? And it's not all black men, right? But then
Trinity,
they have,
you know who this reminds me of?
What?
Nature Boy.
Right.
He reminded me of Nature Boy because Nature Boy is quoted saying he wants to breed his children so the blood can be pure. Now, he seems like an extreme, this Marcus Wesson person, but if you leave bullshit unchecked, that's how it gets to this point. Nobody checked Marcus, so therefore there were 9 bodies by the time the police got there. If somebody doesn't check this other idiot calling himself Nature Boy, it may get to that point, and it's not above him. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely sick to my stomach because this is just disgusting.
Welcome to the panel, Sarah. I'm sorry, y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah, like it also kind of reminds me of R. Kelly because he was famous and rich, and nobody would expect someone like R. Kelly to be doing the disgusting things he does, but he did.
Yeah.
The thing about R. Kelly is he got away with it for years because everybody kept talking about systematic racism and this, that, and the third. That man set up the camera. When he pissed on that little girl, that man set up the camera. On trial, you can see him set up the camera. You can see him doing it. And you literally saw black people talking about some free him and let him go. Just so he can do it again.
Honey.
The man is illiterate and want to blame it on him being molested. Oh, well, there are so many people being molested every year. They're not out here victimizing people. They always want somebody to blame. They always want, well, it's your fault. It's your fault. They don't take responsibility for nothing.
They don't have to. They don't have to. They're still going to be taken care of, looked out for, declared victims. And whenever you do that to an adult, you literally chop their nuts because they're not learning how to do for themselves. And I honestly don't think there's any turning back or fixing them. So those that want to try to fix them, happy trails, because that ship has come and gone. Welcome to the panel, Sarah and Cocoa Puff.
Hey, what's going on? Right. That video was so disturbing. The guy at the end looked very disgusting. And I just feel sad for all of those women who he's basically affected the rest of their life. I mean, he's making babies with his children. And I mean, it's just a lot going on over there.
Yeah, and he has daughters that are also his granddaughters at the same time because he's fucking his own daughters.
Right. So it's like a house full of traumatized women, basically. And, what does that mean for the next generations to come? That's terrible. And the first family, I was shocked at how casual the biological dad was on there talking about, the girls wish that I could have been there. And, he was just kind of casually speaking about their death.
Yeah, they don't have emotion. They don't emote like regular people do. You know what I'm saying? Had that been one of my children, I would have been inconsolable. And he's standing there talking about it like he's talking about what he had for breakfast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was so disturbing to see.
But
they don't have normal emotions like normal people at all.
Exactly. Like him being too casual about it. He don't care. And he knew that man was the killer that killed his first wife. He knew that.
And I think the most disgusting part for me personally is the fact that both of those men had a son to some extent. And the fact that they're setting that type of example for their son, and it's just like, imagine these men, they grow up into men and they said, oh, I saw my dad kill my mom, or oh, I saw my dad do this to my mom or whatever. It's crazy.
Right. It affects generations. And that man had the issue from, what was it, 1991 or 1992, they were saying in the video. And back to the Shahrazad Ali video, wasn't she talking all this how to love a black man in the same very year that all that was going on?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you're absolutely correct. Very
See?
same year.
So it's always been some bullshit.
So
honestly,
go ahead and then I'll go.
Honestly, I feel like Sharara, whatever her name is, I honestly feel like she's just an old lady who hasn't had any love and affection, you get what I mean, in a long time, and she's wanting some of that dusty genitalia.
You're not gonna believe me when I tell you she's been married for a long time, believe it or not. You wouldn't think that. She does come off as a lonely old bitter woman trying to get some dusty love, but she's been married for years.
Wow.
So that, I don't know why she's doing that. I guess, some people think that she was put up to it, by certain entities. I don't have any proof of that, but yeah, sure, she's married.
And she got a lot of kids too.
I think like 11, honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was 10. Yep.
Yeah, that's that typical stuff they do in Blackistan, the jungle. I mean, the hood. I mean, the black community. That's what they do.
So Father's Day, y'all. What is a social media post? Usually when people put up posts, it's because something has happened that they want to share with other people that doesn't happen on a normal basis. So if you go on vacation or you're in the Bahamas, you want to take pictures of the beach and show you on the beach and post it up because that's something special that's happening in your life. Well, these social media posts for Father's Day in Blackistan, all you're admitting is that you don't normally see quote unquote good dads in Blackistan when you make posts like because you need to see a strong black father on your timeline, because you hardly ever see stuff like that. They're admitting by default that this is something to take a look at. And remember when Mother's Day happened, it was just Happy Mother's Day. Nobody said because you think you're a good black mother. It's because you see them all the time. This is what you don't. I am not prepared for them stupid ass posts like the comment said. I'm keeping my ass off the internet before I end up getting blocked by several motherfuckers that's doing this shit.
And notice how the baby is still an infant. Like, he has a whole entire life ahead of him. You can't just say, oh, he's there at birth, now his job is done. Like, no, there's like a whole life ahead of those children.
No, like they're always there for the birth. They're always there to take pictures and be there for the birth. Black men have admitted to taking pictures and posting them on social media to look like involved fathers. They've admitted to that.
I've seen that.
It's true.
When we was in Discord
I've seen that
earlier,
too.
Someone said with this post right here, father and son 20 years later, she asked, well, where's the pictures in between? You couldn't do a timeline with you and your son? Probably can't, because he only came for them 2 goddamn days.
Right.
Bro, can't nobody sit there and tell you where he was.
But haven't you noticed when they post pictures, it's never like father and son at their first baseball game, or, father and son, bring your kid to work day, or, something like that. It's never that. It's just, these little Sears photos, here that he has on the left, and then on the right when they're already grown up.
Girl, that's a gas station. That ain't even a Sears.
No, the one on the left when he's a baby. See how it looks like a background? Like they went to JCPenney in 1990 or something?
You know they can't afford JCPenney.
Everybody could afford that shit back then. That's why they was doing it, because it was cheap.
Thank you. That some y'all might be a little bit younger than me, but yeah, that's what everybody was doing.
You sound like you around my age, because that used to be the shit back then. That shit used to be $29.99.
Yep. This man's shirt says Black Fathers Matter. Last month when it was Mother's Day, did y'all see any Black Mothers Matter?
No.
You probably didn't. Why? Because those are it's a common occurrence. You always see black mothers. They don't know that they're roasting themselves by putting this up. You are a black father. That means you're rare, sir. That's what that means.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and you
And
see
you don't
that's the
see. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I would just like to address this that when it comes to the fathers, even though most of them are very absent when it comes to their children's lives, it's funny how in the community they mostly praise them, but when it comes to the single mothers or the grandmothers or grandmas that are raising the children, they're the one that are hated. Like they're the one that are disrespected. But for the fathers, they're like praised for just being around the kids for like a week. Or like
I'm glad
like
you
you said.
brought up. I'm glad you brought up single dads. Okay, because a single dad in the black community, I mean, people be waiting in line to suck this man dick. Okay, because he's a single father.
And
With a
the fact,
single mother, oh hell no, no, that bitch done fucked up her whole life, fucked up everything. It ain't got nothing to do with the man. You made poor choices, so on and
Yeah.
so forth.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
and then the fact of it is that the fact that he even has to wear a shirt like that, you don't see any other male group having to make that shirt because because they really proven our point. Like you can't sit here and say in one breath, oh, the system is keeping us from our kids, but then in the next breath, oh, black men are the most involved in their children's lives. It's like, which one is it? You don't see any other group of men saying Asian
Right.
dads matter or white dads matter or Hispanic dads matter or anything to that extent, right? Like you don't hear that, but you hear black men saying black fathers matter because they know that they're not involved. They know that,
Right.
but
They know.
they want to prove a point to
Yeah,
us.
remember that? Yeah, remember that trend that was it has to involve with daughters, like girls dad girls, where
I
you have
remember that
all the
trend.
dads with their daughters and everybody was praising for them, and
Yeah,
half of them are not
it
even with
was
their
girl
kids.
dad. You had it right the first time. It was a
I
girl
mean,
dad thing. They
yeah,
started that
girl
after
dad.
Kobe.
Yeah, cause I'll show
You going
Kobe
in and
dad.
out, baby girl.
Oh yeah, that.
It sounds like you rolling down a hill.
Oh me?
Mm-hmm.
Who me?
You keep going in and out.
Maybe it's my connection. Oh, sorry.
Could be.
Well, I'll
Can you
say
hear me
this
now?
while she.
Yeah, if a white dad
Can
made
you
a shirt
hear me?
that's yes, ma'am. If a white dad made
Okay.
a shirt that said white dads, they would call that racism. White dads matter would be all the way racism, to the black community. It just
White
would.
supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been oppressed and their ancestors been oppressed for 400 years, even though slavery ended over 100 years ago, right? And you had all this time. You had the 70s, you had the 80s, you had the 90s, you had the early 2000s,
Damn.
you had the 2010s era to get your crap
Damn.
together, right? You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
that's
But we've been
decades on
oppressed.
decades on decades.
They like before my mother was even born, and she was born 1980. Y'all had all this
Aw.
time to y'all had all of this time to get y'all stuff together, but y'all chose not to. You know what I'm saying?
Girl,
Oh, it's because we're oppressed. Well, that's why white people can't do what we do because we're oppressed. Whatever.
my oldest sister was born in 1980, okay? And I'm the youngest. I was born in 91. My mom was having kids for 10 years. Yes, okay? We're a Blackistan family, okay? These nakers couldn't get it together all the way from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to all the whole time, the whole decade. My mom was having babies. They couldn't get it together. At 30 years later, they still can't get it together. So there's no hope.
Will somebody tell me when you
Yeah.
exactly are going to give up? If you're not talking, put yourself on mute because you're still rolling down that hill, cutie pie. Can you tell me at what point?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, hon. When is it time to give up? It's been hundreds of years, literally. Get what together?
I think now is the best time ever to divest. I think this is the best time. COVID, when all that shit happened with the quarantine and stuff, shelter in place, that was like the best excuse to separate yourself.
This is why I say that black women are just extremely broken. And of course, I'm not talking about divested black women, but black women, like speaking in generally, like, yeah, they're extremely broken. Because how many times did this man got to spit in your face? How many times did he have to hit you, rape you, beat you? How many times Does a man have to walk over your burning body and say, this is not my problem, before you say, okay, I'm done? How many times? These men have done literally everything to you. They've beat you. They've raped you. They've raped your children. They've beat your children. They've killed Black women. They've killed their own children.
Monday is gonna be a motherfucker, y'all, because this is too much going on in one weekend for Blackistan not to fuck each other up. You know, when it's a special holiday and they got 2 in one weekend, boy, them bodies finna be dropping left, right, and center. Like I told y'all on Memorial Day, please stay safe. If you see a naker put a red cup up to his mouth, please exit the building, because the next thing you're gonna hear is gunshots.
Ooh, is it possible?
But I'm laughing.
Oh, sorry.
Say that again.
Is it possible I can share a story? Because this relates to this topic. It's
Okay.
about my half siblings. Okay, so for the fathers who be abandoning the children and they always make a ton of excuse for it. I remember I had my auntie and she had a child with a man, and he's a maker, and so they were married, but the issue with him was that he was broke. So she was a what was that word again? A housewife. So she had to stay in the home to take care of her kid. But the guy didn't have any money to support her. So every day she was depressed and babysitting her kid and dealing with her husband, literally coming back home and yelling at her about money. And so it kind of led to her almost attempting suicide. Wait, am I allowed to say that?
It's already said. Keep rolling.
Okay.
Keep
Sorry.
rolling.
Yeah, it because of him just coming back home and just whining to her about money and how she was basically just suffering to stay with him. She just got suicidal, and she decided to abandon her kid, leave her kid in New York, and move down to Florida to Miami, which she started a family there. And when that story was shared, a lot of women in the house were very judgmental about it. They were blaming for her. But for my dad, he has 3 kids from 3 different women.
I'm
And
not surprised, girl. That's normal.
yeah, it's kind of sad though.
Only
'Cause,
3?
Right.
yeah, 3 kids from 3 different women. And for some reason, my dad has brothers, but none of them took care of the kids that he left. So he had 3 kids, and he moved to Florida because my mom paid for him to move to Haiti to Florida.
Of
So
course your mom paid.
yeah, of course.
Of course your mom paid. Who was gonna pay?
Yeah, right. My dad couldn't do anything for himself because when my mom told me the story of how she moved to America, she basically had a business and she basically made money for herself, and she took my dad and helped his whatever family members to get to America. So my dad was basically a bum, but he ended up having a family which he couldn't even support. But yeah, he left those 3 kids, and I was surprised that he had siblings. He never told me that he had siblings, but he left them. So these kids were literally in a street. They didn't have any support. They had to run and seek for people for help. And I think the time I actually met one of my siblings, which was his name was Jeff. He called me when I was I think I was age 12 or something, and he was basically threatening me.
How old are you now?
I'm 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was probably in his teenage years. Right now he's 20s. But I was really little when he called me, and he just called my dad. He was basically just crying to him about how he abandoned him and how nobody was there to support him, which he has every right to.
He's singing the same song that most Black kids have to sing.
Yep.
This story is not extraordinary in the least. It is so common.
And that's the part, and this is why I was always questioning, what's the point of celebrating Father's Day? Because none of these fathers, every man in my family have buried their kids, yet for some reason we're propping them for being fathers, and it's for what? Just because they have kids, they're not being around them. I mean, shoot, my dad, he never raised me. He was just there, and then he would just go somewhere to have affairs privately in my mom's back, and it's am I supposed to respect this man? Am I supposed?
According to Blackistan, yeah, you're supposed to respect
to see him as my
because
father,
that's
and
your
I'm
damn
supposed
daddy. Yeah, that's according to Blackistan. Quiet
Yeah,
Storm.
he's your dad.
Hold on a second, baby. Quiet Storm says Nick Cannon just had his sixth kid with the seventh one on the way with 4 women. Now notice, because Nick Cannon is a fake hotep, he don't catch as much hell as somebody like Future. Truth be told, they're the same person. There's nothing different.
Nick Cannon is breeding like a slave, and
Yes.
he's starting to get on my nerves. You don't need to do that. That's ridiculous. You are not on the plantation anymore.
Well, according to him, he was when he got his show taken. That it was plantation shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. They were. It was the white man that took his show from him, right?
Yeah, that man doing exactly what he wanted to do. Sitting there popping all them babies out. He's doing exactly what he wants to do.
That's why
because that's what those hoteps believe. They believe in popping out all of those kids.
But the gag is, even if he didn't have his money, he still would be having all these kids. Bums with no job have 7 kids.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad
Mariah
Mariah took her too.
Girl, my stepbrother is a whole bum, ain't got no money, but yet got 11 children and don't take care of not one.
Everybody from homeless women all the way up to superstars like she was are taking bum dick. So you got to know that it's a black woman thing in the mindset, because it doesn't matter how rich, poor, what region, what continent, even everybody's willing to let these niggas take their ankles and throw them up by their head and get them pregnant.
Yeah, and on the topic of what Coco Puff was saying about respecting your father, I've seen I think it was like last year around Father's Day, I saw a lot of people who grew up with single mothers post Happy Father's Day to my mother. And they did not like that. They went off on these people saying, "Oh, this is just for the fathers. This is just for the men."
The Nakers hate that. The Nakers hate when the women take Father's Day because they feel like, oh, they're stealing my shine. And to answer, there was someone had a question on here that said, well, why do we celebrate Father's Day? I honestly think in Blackistan, they say it just so that the Nakers won't get their panties all in a bunch. Because if you don't acknowledge them, it's going to be even more problems. So I think they just do it to shut them up.
Yeah, and for the woman, Satin Doll in the comment section, no, he is not a billionaire. No, he is not.
Does Nick Cannon take care of his kids?
Girl,
who's not a billionaire?
Somebody, Satin Doll in the comment section, she asked, was Nick Cannon a billionaire? He's not.
Now y'all know damn well Nick Cannon's not no damn billionaire.
Like there was a cartoon that just got released on Disney Plus called Us Again, and it was a black woman and a non-black man. It was a little short film, 6-7 minutes. These men are in the comment section in an uproar because of a cartoon. So imagine not mentioning them on Father's Day.
Yeah, look at
they are literally girl going
go crazy.
Literal paragraphs about why it's not a black man.
They don't hate it enough. They don't hate it enough to stay in their kids' life. Picture that shit.
And they were also saying on that cartoon, oh, well, what about the black men in interracial relationships? That remind me of Godfrey, where how they don't want us to be in interracial relationships. They want us to be their backup plan, but they're able to go taste the rainbow, right? Oh, and speaking of the rainbow, even when you look in the LGBT mafia, they're also with non-black men. So there you go.
You know what's crazy is that we could really go in on them about the superficial stuff that they like to talk about. Oh, y'all are fat and y'all have diabetes. We could go back with it, but no, we're coming with the hard stuff. Sweetie, I might be a dark-skinned, ugly monkey, whatever you want to call me, but sweetie, are you in your child's life though? That's what we're getting at.
But see, when you post,
hold on one second, gal. Welcome to the panel, Laurel and Nami.
Hi, y'all.
I've got a feeling that there's a Dusty in the house, but we'll see. We'll see.
Can I just tell a story real quick about my dad?
Yes.
Okay, so my father was one of them hotep black guys. He was running around telling every black woman that he could find that he hated the white woman. The white woman was the evil devil, all this crazy stuff. So he started dating my mom. You know, my mom's believing all this stuff that he's saying about her. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so my mom's believing all the stuff that he's saying about white women. And he's, out here kind of being a bum. He's working, but he started getting addicted to drugs. So now he's a drug addict. He caught AIDS, him and his brother,
Oh
because
my God.
they were doing drugs together. This is back in the 80s when they didn't like know that much about sharing needles and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So him and his brother catch AIDS. Thank God he didn't give it to my mom, because she could have given it to me when she gave birth to me. But his brother gave it to his wife. And now they're both dead because of that, Nick Moss. So now fast forward later, after mom gives birth to me, my dad moves into this like white area. He gets saved, quote unquote, by this white church. So he goes in there, messing up their church. He marries one of the white women in there after swearing all his life that he hates the white woman. So then he cheats on her with another white lady in the church. And I think she caught cancer and passed away. And he was like, he married his mistress pretty much. So now this woman has cut off all communication from his family, except for me, because I'm the only one that really talks to them. And he has Alzheimer's now. So he's completely dependent on her. He's never had his own place a day in his life. He's always lived off a woman. So now he's not happy in this karma marriage that he got himself into. And he had the nerve to say to me, when my wife dies, I want to get back with your mama. Basically, because he needs someone to take care of him, because he knows he's old now and he can't take care of himself. So even with his Alzheimer's and all this, other stuff he has going on, he still is cognizant enough to know how to still use women. Like, I hadn't talked to my dad for over a decade, and then out of the blue, he starts, calling me and trying to build a relationship with me, pretty much so in case if my mom don't take him back, which she absolutely will not, he's going to try to bum off of me and live with me now that he's old and sick. And
What example does he have that wouldn't actually work? There's so many examples out here of women taking men back from, there's nothing that they can do to get put out permanently. So even with Alzheimer's, he knows that he may have a chance because of, what the Black community looks like.
And he's in for a big surprise. He's going to be going to a nursing home.
And even after all of that he has done in his life, the behavior, Black women, your grandmother specifically, will get blamed for his behavior. Like, that's what Black men do. It's, oh, well, what did his mama do? How did his mama raise him? It's never bringing up both parents if they bring up the parent for a grown adult's decisions that they have made. It's always Black women's fault. Even Black women who don't even have children, we get blamed for the behaviors of 40-year-old grown men who run around acting like they're 6. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Kauai, are you near Blaze? Kauai. Okay, I'm gonna drop her back down.
Easy pause.
Yeah,
Easy pause.
It was funny that you said that, because I literally just had a conversation with my mom. She finally kicked out my brother, and because he's a Dusty.
Hey, congrats!
I know, right? I was so proud of her. He's a Dusty, and I kept telling her, because she's crying to me, saying that, "What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?" And I'm just like, "Mom, why are you blaming you? It's my dad's fault too." And no one understands. Well, you guys probably understand that.
Yeah.
It takes 2 people to raise a child, and I just don't understand, why don't we put the blame on the fathers that aren't really there emotionally, financially, or spiritually for their children, instead we just put it all on the mom. Like,
also, it's also the people that's their surroundings too, like the men. Even though the kids don't have the fathers, they can look at somebody outside their households to look up to, but there's not really good representative that will give a good example for these little Black boys to follow. So of course they're turned to the bad ones, the ones that are thugs, the ones who are always running around and having sex with. They just look up to them, which confused me so much, because like any one of the women here would have a bad mother, but they will look for women to look up to that set a good example for them to set up their future. So I don't understand how do Black boys end up becoming like thugs or robbers or bums in the street when they could just like.
Know why?
Why so?
Because all the examples that we have are either hoteps. My uncle used to be an ex-drug dealer. My whole family lied to us about like him going to California for 10 years. He was in jail. It's because we have horrible examples as like men in our society, in our community. And no matter what,
they don't have examples at all. They
Yeah,
don't have
and it
examples. Their
starts-
only example is to teach them how to be pimps. That's it.
Yup.
And
Yeah.
when they teach them how to manipulate women, and then when that runs out of time, then everyone's just outside panicking, looking for resources. But they don't teach black boys how to be anything but pimps.
And also not even really just pimps, because I'm in high school, right? Uh and I live in Pleasant Grove, which is the hood, of course.
Hey, don't tell
And
nobody where you live, girl.
oh, my bad. My bad.
Don't do that. Let me welcome Quiet to the panel too, by the way. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello. I'm very shy, so sorry. Just call me Kawaii. That's my name. But
Why do I attract nervous women? Do you hear me? Y'all be nervous for nothing. Y'all are amongst countrymen. We got this. Ain't nothing to be nervous about. You know who should be nervous?
Like, the
Niggas.
first time you come up on here, you're always going to be nervous. Like, I don't know when to like speak or anything.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear.
I was
But
nervous. Also, nobody wants to come off rude because everyone's talking in a circle.
Yeah.
What you got to add, Hawaii?
Well, I just want to say that okay, I just want to talk about my father. My father, like, okay, I say he's a hotep too, but he has money, okay? He has money. He's one of those military men and stuff like that. He had I think 6 kids.
That's a damn shame. You hear how you have to say that? I think I got 6 brothers and sisters. I think Blackistan is a mess.
I'm considered the last child, but I feel like I'm not, because my sister, she's a few months older than me. And he was engaged to my ex stepmom. He's not with her anymore. And he cheated on her with my sister's mom and cheated on her with my mom. And my mom thought she was the only one, but she wasn't. So come to find out, it took some years for her to know that she wasn't the only one, because my grandma, well, my father's mom, outed him that he had other women on the side.
Wow.
And it's just
the mamas always know.
Yeah.
It's
and
yeah.
And it's just the fact that my mom is pretty poor. My dad, he has money, right? But he does not really like pay for a lot of things. My mom had to push him to pay stuff.
That's
and
why he has money, because he doesn't pay anything.
Yes, and even then he's a cheapskate. Like oh
yeah,
my gosh,
I was gonna say about that money part.
That's my dad too. He's very cheap. He will not spend anything on anybody but for himself.
Plus, it's like he complained that, I don't really call him, but to be honest, he wasn't really in my life emotionally. Yes, physically he was there, but emotionally he wasn't there. Like when I was growing up, I had a hard time in middle school. Like I've been through like SA and mental health issues, had S thoughts and stuff like that. And he always blamed it on me. I never told him that I've been through SA or got M'd or anything like that before, because I'm scared that he's going to like blame that on me. So I just never told him.
Listen, y'all, it's something serious on this banner. Real quick, some Nirvana says that she was abused from ages 4 to 11, had a baby when she was 11 due to this. Mom gave the baby away, and the baby came back and found her 23 years later. She feels blessed. I'm sorry that you were abused that way. You in the 62.
Wow, thank you for sharing that story with us, Nirvana. That's
damn. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Can I share this? Because I want to say this is that for the Negro community, it just shows how children or maybe parenthood is very disrespected. Because I remember when I was in Tumblr and I was talking to this random white guy, he'd share me a story about his father abandoning him and how much he hated him for that. And he told me that since he was a young kid, he was basically working enough to provide for his mother and whatever stuff she needs, because like he said that he refused to be like his father and abandon his kids, abandon his family in general. So he was like, I just don't respect any man who would just leave up a house with a mother and kid. Like, no, he don't want any of these kids to end up like, he don't want, sorry, I'm starting. He don't want to like have a family and end up the same way he dealt with as a child. So he said he don't respect any dads who leave out of the house, but for the for this nigger community, it's like respected and entertained. Like, oh, you left a woman with her kid, ah ha ha, that's what she deserved. Or did that bitch put you on child support? Oh well, you better do this and that so she won't get any money from you and blah blah blah.
It's funny how they're always bitches, but you stuck your dick in that bitch. Quote
And
unquote.
and the thing of it is that other groups of men, and they are socialized a different way. Am I saying that all white men are just perfect? No, definitely not. That's just not realistic. However, they're just not socialized the same way black men are. See, the difference between black men and non-black men is that at least if they came from like shithole parents, they try to break that generational curse. When white men who come from broken homes and poverty, they get it out the mud, and they work hard to take care of their mothers, grandmothers, and women and other men in their communities and their families. You know what I'm saying? But see, black men, they choose not to break generational curses. And I even brung that up before. I said, how is it that when white men or non-black men come from single mother homes, they aren't degenerate like black men? So the fact that black men keep bringing up, oh well, my mom, she was a single mama and she ain't raised me this way or that way, or white supremacy, it's always them deflecting and blaming everything on somebody else. It's never them taking responsibility. And that just goes to show how other groups of men, they're just better, and black men suck. Like, black men suck.
That's
like
really
they
the
just
biggest
suck.
small of it.
Yep, all of them.
Yeah, that's the
And that
biggest
goes
thing right there. And it's been for
internationally.
years, decades, just like what you said earlier, Trinity, about it being you said the 70s, the 80s, we were naming all the decades, but yeah, they just choose not to be anything.
Like, it's not even that black men can't do anything. They just
No, they choose not to.
They choose not to. No, first of all, nobody can oppress you in 2021 to the point where you can't even see your children. That's just a choice.
Listen, can't nobody oppress you for 500 years. Like,
I have to
eventually you're going to...
Hello?
Sorry, go ahead, DZ.
I don't think that they can do anything. Honestly, they can't. Because the thing is, they wouldn't free themselves. They wouldn't free y'all or us. They would definitely free themselves if they could. Real talk. Because they want freedom, but they don't want to
I feel like they think they're free. That they think they're free. The fact that they don't have to pay rent, the fact that they don't have to buy groceries,
it's not
the
enough.
fact that they don't have any responsibility, the fact that they can do whatever for them. I think they, in their heads, the way they stand, outside, the way these motherfuckers stand up,
it's not enough. It's absolutely not enough because they still fucking begging.
Yep.
And that's why they cry and complain about paying $45 a week in child support.
Yeah, that's exactly how much my brother pays in 2021 for 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Dead serious.
I wanted to add something about my dad because I don't really live with my dad like before I did when I was younger. I mean, now I'm 18. But before, when I was like going to school in the area that he was, like sometimes, like even though my dad was married, he still brought women in the house and was messing with them in the house. And he would like make me and my sister having to clean the house and fix the food and like clean everything else like we were slaves or something like that. And I'm like, I was getting really confused. Like, I mean, I told my mom like later, and she was like, "Excuse me." Like even now, it's just weird. Like sometimes he would like, even when I was growing up, I feel like that was one of the reasons why I really did not want to go over there. Because sometimes he would even be touchy on us. Sometimes, like how some of them they just be grabbing your butt and be like, "Oh, you look like you getting a butt down there," or some weird stuff.
It's always inappropriate. Always inappropriate.
You know that happened with my dad's cousin. I remember a time where we had a Thanksgiving party and something was happening because of my auntie. Well, that's another story, but yeah. I remember a time where it was me, my sister, and my older cousin, who was a girl. And he came up to us and he was slapping all of our behinds. And he's like, "All you guys are getting older now, just more sexier and older." And he said, "I like this."
I hate
that. Yup. And we were all disgusted. And we look all to my auntie, and I was like, did he just? I'm like, is this
You keep
okay?
going out, baby
And my
girl.
auntie said, oh, he was just drunk. You know, this. Huh?
You keep going out.
Oh, sorry.
Every
Yeah.
now and then,
Oh,
you're going
sorry.
out. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, sorry. Maybe I was too far. But yeah, when we asked our auntie about it, we was like, why did he like place his hand on us? That's like disgusting. And she was like, oh, it was just the booze, the booze. Just, don't make a big deal about it. He was just drunk. I'm like, well, if he's gonna act like this, we can't be around him. And she's like, oh, he's your cousin. It's not a big deal. And I was like,
It's funny because
Mimi,
I
welcome to the
remember
panel, honey. Trying to welcome Mimi to the panel.
Hi, ladies. How are you guys doing?
Awesome sauce. How are you?
I'm doing well. I wanted to add to the conversation a little bit to say that, it really doesn't matter the background of these individuals because they want to be perpetual victims. They want to be the center of attention. And it's like this almost like a psychopathic mentality they have. I say this because my ex-husband now came from the ideal two-parent household. And when I tell you that was the absolute worst relationship I've ever been in my entire life, it put me off from dating altogether. Because he's just so vindictive and trifling. And you would think, hey, I found a catch, the ideal relationship he was brought under, and it doesn't matter. They still find ways to be degenerate, no matter how they're brought up, no matter what type of environment they're brought into. They're just degenerate.
That's why I say they can't free themselves. They don't have the mental capacity to free themselves.
Yeah,
they're
and
waiting on you to do it. And then the fact of the matter is, a lot of us are trying to do it for them. And you have the weakest men on the planet because you won't sit your ass down and let them fight for them goddamn selves. At this point, they can't.
Yeah, and speaking of
really
mental
can't.
state, I have a cousin who recently went to jail because he works in a mental hospital and he was sexually assaulting the patients in the mental hospital.
Nobody is safe around them fuck boys. They just not. They're not safe around them. They molest anything that moves. My mom had a friend guy. I don't know whether she was messing with him or not, but he was around a lot. And this motherfucker said that when he didn't get any pussy, he would defrost some liver and fuck it.
That's disgusting.
Okay? I'm talking about liver, calf liver that you eat. He said he defrost it and fuck it because that's the closest thing to pussy. And that's just what he used to do. And they said this shit in front of us kids.
Well, yeah, and they're also doing it to dogs too. They like that bestiality. If they can't get a human to mess with, and I'm saying a human, doesn't matter the gender, then they'll just go to an animal.
They are, yes. They're getting into that trinity. Yep. And they're doing a lot of dog breeding right now. So they're kind of getting real intimate with their dogs. It's a whole thing going on.
For the woman who said that, her family member was being inappropriate with her and nobody did anything about it, I'm not surprised. Like, that has not only happened to me, but that also happened to other female family members of mine. These men who we share blood with will come up to us and be seriously inappropriate with us. And nobody will say anything. They just look at us like it's normal for them to be looking at us like that. It's not normal.
This sexual addiction they have.
A short story, and I'll hop off. It's a short story. I go really to what you just said. When I was 5 years old, when my grandfather finally came back home from Haiti, because my family's all from Haiti. So I didn't know the dereliction as bad as you guys know, because you dealt with American men. All my family comes from Haiti. But the Haitians are no better. The Jamaicans are no better. I can't name one Caribbean islander that's even better. So my grandfather finally came from Haiti. My mom automatically took me away and sent me off to Boston because he had raped his own daughter. Oh, sorry. I don't know if it already got our word. His own daughter had a baby by her, and they lost the baby. But it's so common in the Caribbean in African or in all cultures of these men that this information is known. People know this information and they don't protect their children. The only reason I got protected was because my mom was like, oh no, she's only 5. I'm taking both my kids. And I never understood it until she got older. I'm like, the reason why I left you was because he was a pedo. And my dad knew it. And he was gonna let me meet him.
Wow. Did something happen with your mom when she was little too?
No, because she would live with my grandmother, and like she kept a strict leash on my uncle, her cousins, and her. But the mammyism goes stronger in like my family. Like my grandmother is a purebred mammy. She's the definition of a misogynist. She abused me and my mother while she was living in the United States to take care of me, and my cousins and everyone saw it. My dad saw it, and he did nothing. Like
they stay on code. Even though it's degenerate, they stay on code, especially when it's going against Black girls and Black women. You know, if he knew that and was going to subject you to meeting him, he need his ass whooped.
Well, yeah. I hope all you ladies get some therapy, and not anyone who's had to deal with it, because honestly, it's real. The issues are real, and please divest or die. Yep. Love you. I hope you have a great day. Night.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm getting ready to hop off too. I just want to say the same thing. Oh, sorry to cut you off. I'm getting ready to hop off. Divest or die, ladies. You already know.
Bye.
Thank you for coming up.
Bye.
Bye. I think all Black women need therapy.
Where this girl.
Oh, but even when getting therapy, you have to watch out for who's your therapist, because a lot of them be caping for what you've been through. Like, oh, yeah, it's not all of them and stuff like that. And it's like, what? You're supposed to be my therapist. Like, I'm like mad confused.
When your therapist is excusing your abuse, that's a real bad look. And honestly, if anybody's got a therapist that's excusing the abuse, I would report them to their licensing board, because they shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, in general, if we're asking them for help. But I'd like to mention of this important notion, because I remember there was this one girl who mentioned a value point. She said that the only time a Black man will protect you is if he's only attracted to you. And I remember hearing that, and I was like kind of offended. I'm like, am I supposed to be his type in order for him to like feel like he's obligated to protect me? Because as men, you're supposed to. Like, if you see any women or children being harmed or harassed by any grown adult male or any boys in general, you should at least stood up and say something. But there's some actual Black men that won't say anything unless they know you or they like to or they want to have sex with you.
So yeah, I disagree.
Even with that, I disagree. Even with that,
because it doesn't matter if you're. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're okay. I was gonna say that even just like Sweetie and Quavo, like. That's just one example. Like, even when you're the preference, to a certain extent, they still don't protect you even then. So that's just what they want you to believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to add to that it seems like they hate women, but they enjoy having sex with women. So they can like you, but they just like to have sex with you. That doesn't mean that they respect you as a person. They don't even see you as an individual. They see you as a masturbation tool. True. So it's not necessarily that, if they like me, they'll protect me. Because you have, husbands abusing their spouses, or, somebody just, they like them and the person turned them down and now they're being abused. It doesn't matter if they like you. They're just
evil. I think
and they're not, the thing about it is they're not going to help.
I think protect is just a code word for control, because like you said, they're abusing them, right? So it's not about protecting them. It's about controlling them and creating the illusion to you and manipulating you into believing that they're protecting you when they're really just trying to control you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like there was, I just came across the video. I don't know if y'all saw it. But a couple got into an argument. This is a gas station full of men. A couple got into an argument, and he starts beating the hell out of this woman, the living hell out of her. And nobody stands up to help her. He is whipping her ass like you would not believe, and nobody is helping her. We're
Was that
talking
the one
about a
with the
gas
jersey on,
station full
JoJo?
of men. So when we talk about divestment and that we're leaving, oh well, you're not gonna have any protection. What protection?
Is
What
that
is
the
the
one with the
protection from? What
jersey
is he
on?
doing?
JoJo, is that the one with the jersey on, like a green and white jersey?
I just remember what she had on. She was like,
Okay.
she was significantly shorter than him and had on a black shirt.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And
I'm gonna
he
look for that
literally
video real
towered
quick.
over her, beating her ass.
Was she throwing a freezer?
They were in the front of the gas station by the cash register.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm gonna see if I can't find the video.
Oh, what's the title of the video? Because I've never seen it, but I'm not surprised. Then, a lot of these men were just were watched the random men just beat up women randomly, and they would do nothing but pull out their phone and laugh. I mean, this was the same issue with my friend that I stopped talking to because she wouldn't stop arguing me about her boyfriend, where she got in a fight with because I guess the girl was sleeping with her boyfriend, and of course her boyfriend was denying it. So of course she took her anger on the random girl, and she has a child, so she took her kid to the fight, and there was like maybe 10 men in the block around the block they were going to fight in, and not one when they started to fight, not one of them would separate them the whole time. They were like pulling out their phone and screaming, but when the two men do come up to them to separate them, it's like a light push, like hey now don't like, it's not like he like grabbed them to separate each other. It was like a light push, like they just stick out their arm, but they can easily slap it away and then continue fighting. It's like they don't care. And then they say, oh well, I don't have to do anything, that's your business, it's not my business, I don't have to do anything to you. But it's like you're there and you're willing to entertain and laugh at. So it's like if you're gonna jump in a fight, you might as well stop it. Because if anything happened to that person, all of you guys are gonna be accountable for it because you were there.
Since no blows were swung on this one, I'm getting ready to show y'all one that I showed earlier, where one of you guys just said all they do is laugh when they see you getting your ass whooped. That's a fact. So let me open this up real quick, because the receipts are real.
Bro, get out of here, bro.
No, stop you.
Oh.
Dang, Craig.
That's what she looked like beforehand. It's ridiculous.
I saw this video on Troll Alley.
And
look, you know, her face is destroyed. She'll never fully heal from that. Not the way they beat her ass.
Look at how bad she's bleeding from her mouth and nose, and they're laughing and recording her, and nobody's trying to get her to a hospital. Clearly,
where's her Black Lives Matter post? Where's her Black Lives Matter post?
Girl, please, Black Lives don't matter when it's us.
But these are kings, right? But these are kings, right? That society tries to push, right? Oh, look at these strong black kings that.
Bro, get out of here, bro.
I saw this video on Troll Alley. Sorry.
And I bet the comments are just filled with, well, what did she do?
Under the
what
comments,
did she do?
Yup, that's what they were asking too. When I was reading under the comment section in Troll Alley, they were asking, there's two sides to the story. I'm like, are you kidding me? This girl is like brutally abused. What if she sleeps and she don't wake up? And they're like, oh, are you trying to blame it on the men now? Are you saying that they hit on her? And I was like, what are you saying? I'm like,
the thing is, they laughed at it. Anytime they see black women hurt, they laugh at that shit because they don't fucking like you. They hate your guts. Thanks for that opinion.
They have no sympathy for you. They're not human. Black men are not human. Something is psychologically wrong with them. And it's getting to the point where I think there's something psychologically wrong with black women too. Because I'm sure there's a bunch of mammies over there as well that was laughing it up with them like a bunch of pick-me's. And, you know, these are kings, right? These are the same group of black boys who are going to be considered kings when they become a hashtag because they can't keep themselves out of trouble, right? Like, they're kings, right? This is what society, and it's not even just black women or the black community. This is what society have painted them out to be, kings, right? And strong black men who can't do anything wrong, right? Who isn't capable of being misogynistic and assholes, right?
Kyra,
Yeah.
welcome to the panel, dear.
Yeah, and how
Hi,
you said
DZ.
that.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course.
So, you remember a few weeks ago when I emailed you that Facebook post about that man and the woman that were dating and sleeping together, and then they found out they were brother and sister?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the other thing created by Black fathers. You have half siblings sleeping together because they have community peeing. They keep spraying their seed around, and then they wonder why folks end up having sex with their first cousins or even half siblings.
Yeah, it's bound to happen because they are in a little circle. Them niggas do not even bother to leave your city to get somebody pregnant. They're going to get your neighbor pregnant, okay? Welcome to the panel, Coco Fit and Shaw.
Hey, DZ. Hey,
Hi.
everybody.
All right, you go first, Coco Fit.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Absolutely.
Goodness. First of all, thank you for doing all the work that you're doing.
Yes,
I really
ma'am.
appreciate everything. And I just wanted to share that I am a survivor of incest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it is, DZ, is that it was my brother that was the perpetrator. And for years I dealt with this, and in the back of my mind, I always knew that he did this to someone else. And all of a sudden, his first wife's daughter, I mean not daughter, but niece rather, for some reason she just popped into my head. And 4 years ago, I ended up having a nervous breakdown and talking through all of this with my therapist and all that. And then I contacted my ex-sister-in-law and told her what happened, and felt like I needed to start telling my story because I had been quiet about it for all these decades. And I'm 48, by the way. And when I finally got a hold of her, I let her know what happened, and I asked her about her niece, and she was like, yeah, the same thing happened to her too, but it was worse for her because he was basically hoeing her niece out and her best friend. And I feel so guilty because if I had said something when it happened to me, he probably would have been in prison, but I didn't. And I feel awful that I didn't say anything because
a lot of them get away with it. A lot of them do. So even if you would have told, the chances of him actually going to jail was slim because my molester is still out. He's out and running around Florida.
Oh my God.
Well, one of them is, because I have two, but half the time they don't go to jail because the women in the community protect these stupid asses. Keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. Thank you. And I'm sorry for what happened to you as well, and to all the women that are survivors as well on the call. But I just also wanted to tell you that when I told her, she believed me, and then there was another story that I found out about that happened with his stepdaughter, that he was inappropriate with her as well. And when she went to tell her mom, my brother's current wife, she didn't believe her, and she believed my brother. Do you know that? And we live in the same state. Like, we live an hour away from each other, and I haven't seen this MFer in years. And he sends family members to try to contact me, and I have a daughter who's 16, and idiot ass ex-husband posts pictures of her on Facebook, and when he posted her in her cheerleading outfit, he texts me from another phone number. Like, he texts me from his work phone, and I have, like this background search where you can kind of check, people's telephone numbers and stuff. And I found out it was his business line that he texts me from. So he just constantly finds ways to gaslight me. And I mean, I'm damn near 50 years old, and, and I am terrified, but I am strapped up here at the house And if he ever comes to my door, he ever messes with my daughter, he's done. I don't even care.
I don't blame you. I blow that fucking do-rag clean off his head. I can't stand people that sexually assault people, especially when they're minors. You are the lowest of the goddamn low. Depending on how bad the mental damage is, you probably would have done better making sure she didn't survive it. Because a lot of people, if y'all didn't know, I do one-on-ones on Patreon, and a lot of these girls, I don't know what on earth they're going to do because they've been through therapy. They're on medication. They're doing everything that everybody suggests, and they still are empty. Their chest is empty. There's no heart there. There's no soul there. They are done. So, these motherfuckers, they that's the fastest way to get up under my goddamn skin, taking some sex you're not supposed to take with your degenerate ass.
Exactly. And everyone kind of blames me and the family and hates me because, I kept my kids away from that bastard. And, then and I had to tell my kids what happened after I had my episode. I had to tell them what happened. And I even told my ex-husband what happened. And, he was like, well, you all were hanging out and stuff. The only reason I was doing that was just, to save face because my mother was still living at the time and she was old and I didn't want her having a heart attack and having a nervous breakdown and all that. So again, I was self-sacrificing for the sake of other people. And
I'm so sorry for you.
I and I can't date. I can't have a healthy relationship,
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't trust black men at all anymore.
Hell no, you ain't supposed to.
And see, that's the. And oh, sorry.
Go ahead, honey.
I'm sorry, dear. I didn't hear you.
No, sorry. That's the problem. Black men will force black women into celibacy because of how healthy, because on how unhealthy they are in their reigns are to destroy women to the point where she can't even get back into her healthy mind state or even imagining a healthy relationship. Because all of it just always starts from abuse and end as abuse. I'm so sorry for you, man.
No, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you allowing me to share my story. It's just I'm just trying to figure out a way to get rid of this guilt because I really feel
it's not your fault. We always guilty. Black women always feel guilty. It's not your fault.
Here's the thing, right? Like I was molested as a child, so I understand your guilt because I felt the guilt. I kept quiet for a long time about what happened to me. A long time. And now one of my molesters is now married to a woman with young children that are not his.
Oh, Lord.
And whether they were his or not, those children are still not safe. And I still, I still have guilt about that. You can't, and one thing that I'm learning is that we can't hold on to that. We are conditioned to keep our mouths shut. And then when we finally crawl from under that, then we are consumed with so much guilt because now we're thinking to ourselves, oh, well, we should have said something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
but if you're taught to be quiet,
that's
because
true.
of the black man don't want to go to jail and systematic racism and this, that, and the third, and it's normal.
Yeah.
Then what else are you supposed to do? You can't sit there and feel guilty about something you are conditioned to do.
And the crazy part about it is I don't know what it is with black families and this bullshit, because I have a first cousin that molested all of his children, all of them. And the only reason he went to jail is my cousin was a crack addict, and he was a pimp. And he pretty much put all of the women that he had children with that were his hookers, and he put them all on crack and other drugs and stuff. And the only reason he even served any time, DZ and y'all, is that his white bottom bitch, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say the word.
No, bottom bitch is the thing, and they're usually white.
Yeah, and his bottom bitch, the mother of 5 of his 6 children, was the one that reported him because she was in jail, and then when she went to jail and she got out, and she went ahead and reported him, and he ended up going to jail, and he didn't serve long though, and the crazy part about it is that my mammy ass family, still has him around, like ain't did shit. And then he tried to he fucked my his own cousin who is disabled. She was grown, but she's got intellectual delay.
Ain't nothing safe around them.
And
Nothing safe around them.
Dude, and I cursed all of their asses out. Like when I found out about all this shit, I cursed all of them motherfuckers out, and they thought I was crazy.
Yeah, you the one with the problem because you're saying something about it. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. And
go ahead, sweetheart.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I just want to say I'm sorry about, your situation. And, and I'm glad that I got to hear your story, and I just want to say I'm sorry for that. And, what pisses me off is the performative Black unity that the Black community spews and perpetuate. It's like you want Black people to come together. But
Testing.
But as soon as
we hear you. Is that Nina?
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Just checking. Go ahead.
Okay.
As soon as a Black woman, Black women and girls speak their, experience when it comes to Black men, whether it's, R-wording or when it comes to colorism or any type of anti-Black is, that Black women have to face at the hands of Black men, then all of a sudden people want to say, oh, well, stop dividing the Black community, stop with the gender war, stop with trying to...
I'm keeping the gender war going. Personally, screen record this shit. I'm going to keep the gender war going until they say she has no pulse, doctor. I'm going to keep that shit going.
Exactly. And it's just like, I'm sick of that. It's like, you can't, we live in a community where they want to have this performative love and sit here and say, oh, we need to bring the Black community together, but even be honest about Black male pathology. And that's what I have an issue with. We can't ever be honest about Black men. The whole community, Black women and men, can sit here and talk about single mothers and how Black women are too hard on Black men and how Black women are masculine, Black women aren't submissive, Black women always wear weave, Black women this, Black women that. But as soon as you critique Black men or give your opinion, like if you go on the Shade Room Hood Rats where all the hood boogers and ghetto baby mamas and Pookies and Ray Rays and Keishas are at, when you go on there and you give your opinion, then they're all going to just attack you when they're uneducated about the topic.
Trinity, read that banner right there, sweetheart. And I'm so sorry, Midwest Cutie. Thank you. Go ahead, Trinity.
I was molested by my uncle living with my grandmother and found out recently he R-worded my older sister and she was, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Can I jump in there?
I am so sorry, Midwest Cutie. I'm
sorry.
Every time we do something having to do with sexual assault, there are so many. That's why that 62%, that's bullshit. I feel like it's closer to 82%.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead.
Because it's just like are we all just congregating over here because we've been touched? I don't think so. The numbers are always large, no matter whose chat room you're in. If they're talking about sexual assault, it's like 80% of people got a story. And then think about the ones that's not telling their story.
It's probably 80%. It could be. I don't know if that's a reach, but it could be 80%.
No, it's not a reach. Like with her saying it wasn't your fault, forgive yourself. I'm struggling with that. I struggling with that because I kept quiet. I was molested twice, and I kept quiet for well over a decade. Before I even said a word of it to anybody.
So really
it's
quick,
on you, Nina.
Sorry. Okay. No, it's cool. First of all, ladies, good evening. Hello.
Someone has a delay. It's on Nina right now.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. Okay. First of all, good evening, ladies. Good evening, DZ. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
And okay. So I've been listening to everyone's stories, and I'm trying. I'm trying not to get emotional, and not to get pissed off. No. I'm gonna tell you why. I got you, DZ. I'm gonna put it to you like this, and this is gonna sound very extreme, and I apologize to who I offend. First and foremost, I want to send love to every one of you ladies who has been abused, but I need to get this out. When we talk about restoring the Black family, right? Which I'm sure, considering, the Father's Day is coming up, and because these black men are so defensive because they know they're not doing what they ought to be doing as far as their children is concerned, right? I go on social media and I see a whole lot of them complaining like, oh, Father's Day isn't going to get as much attention as Mother's Day and blah, blah, blah. But they know why, just like we know why. And another thing they bring up a lot, these same types of black men like to bring up a lot, is the restoration of the black family and how the black family is breaking down. And they want to blame it on every other thing except themselves. I submit to you and every other woman who's listening and who's in the chat, when they talk about restoring the black family and how the black family is being breaking down, they're talking about the black man's self-esteem.
Yes.
Now the real reason, the crap that you ladies are talking about, the molestation, the incest. Oh my God, my heart goes out to every last one of you ladies. I'm but when we talk about these things wouldn't be able to go on, and they wouldn't be able to be accepted by these mammies. The real reason that they're accepted by these mammies is because they have it in their head that we're supposed to stick together. Oh, that's your father. Oh, that's your uncle. Oh, that's your cousin. Oh, that's another black man. And then when they can't get you with the familial thing, the whole tribal shaming, it also extends into the community. Oh, do you really want to put another black man in jail? So the community also, and the black family, is nothing more than a hotbed for abusive men and black women to do their thing unbothered. And we gotta let, and I heard a lot of you ladies bring up guilt. We have to let go of guilt, because I'm gonna tell you what, I was abused, and I won't get into the details of that. But what kept me in that cycle up until my early 20s, damn near, right? What kept me in that cycle was this guilt, this feeling like something must be wrong with me, because these people, they seem like, I don't think, these are my family. This is my family, and they're black just like me. Why would they abuse me unless there was something fundamentally wrong with me? I'm here to tell you women, I'm here to tell you ladies, that's bullshit, and you've been lied to. Something's wrong with them. Something's wrong with the black community. And yes, something is wrong with the black family.
Yes.
And it ain't got a damn thing to do with no feminism. Feminism is a symptom. It's a symptom. These women, and these little girls, they had no other choice. The men were leaving, and when they did stay, and I'm so glad, I don't know who brought it up. I think it was you, DZ, who brought up this bullshit. They want to talk about how every family needs a man in the house. Oh, really? What kind of man exactly? What kind of man exactly? The kind of man who would molest a child?
Man.
Right? So these women had no other choice but to be, build an allegiance with these other races of women and see if they can't make money to feed their children, and they're mad at that. And they want to talk shit about the black family, and the black community is in shambles. No, your ego's in shambles. Your ability to abuse and misuse people with impunity is in shambles, and you're shaking in your fucking boots.
Yes.
Hello, what's up, Godfrey? What up, Godfrey? What up, Godfrey? Why you think that man was so irate? And like, part of me, because we have it in our head, we've been socialized to take men seriously whenever, even when they're in that state. Like, part of me, like, even after divestment, like, yeah, like, part of you was like, oh, let's listen to what he's saying. And then I look closer, I'm like, wait a minute. If this was a black woman doing exactly what he was doing, we call him crazy and angry, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's the part that's hypocritical, because most of these men that they always look like angry gorillas. It's like when you hear them talk, they sound stupid.
Look at the banner again, y'all. That's why I say.
But if you dare to correct them, you're the best. Like
that 62% is some bullshit.
It's a made-up number.
It's some bullshit. I mean, what are the chances that so many survivors, quote unquote, would meet on the same night? We're not even in here together all the time.
Because we all hate black men. We all hate black men. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's an agenda. It's an agenda, like Godfrey said.
Yeah, it's an agenda.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
hello?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hi. Hi everyone in the panel. Hi DZ. I just wanted to jump in here real quick because, well, this is my first time ever doing something like this, so please excuse me if I'm a little jumbled with my words. But I would like to say this first and foremost, that I'm so grateful that I found your channel, because a lot of the points and a lot of the things that you say are raw and to the point. Because I'll say this much. My family is a bucket of shit and a dumpster fire all in one. Three generations. If it was think of the baby kids all on crack and they're all retarded. It is horrible. Kids. Yes, I'm that old. Not that old. Anyway, so I just wanted the thing is I'm just gonna say this up front and foremost. I have been diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and depression.
Wow.
And I got that from Blackistan, my family, and I'm also Caribbean. I was born in Jamaica. So when they say the black male experience is worldwide, is serious. I'll start off by saying this, that my grandmother had 11 kids. My grandmother's husband was a local hoe. Jamaican men have a tendency to jump the fence and have 3 families down the street. I'm not even joking. I don't think there's no food stamp or WIC in Jamaica, but she had 11 kids. It was so bad that the female in the children had to raise. I'll give my grandmother's children had I don't know if there's any Caribbean women in the chat or on the panel, but there's a thing where then have you ever
Jamaican
heard
and
like how
Yeah, me too.
they make the females take care of everybody? I was taught from age 5 to cook and clean and scrub floors.
But that's not even a Caribbean thing. That's a black thing.
But it's horrible.
The Caribbeans they do
take care of everyone.
She got a point though. It's the West Indian and the Latinos. They go extreme with it though.
It's like, if you stand up for yourself, they beat you. I got water thrown on me and beaten. I was beaten. Okay, so my mother was raised by her sister, right? And she was also caught up with the whole the Jamaican hood rat crap, the yardie stuff. And what happened was my mother actually got raped, and anyway, she got with this local dusty Jamaican dude, and she had 2 children with that guy. My uncle actually sold my mom to an American guy that was in construction, so that's how she came over to America. So the whole shitstorm just it's like a whole 2-3 generations of crap. So this guy that my mom is now married to, who's my stepfather, he's very abusive. He would beat my mother in front of us. He would beat us for no reason. He would take the money and gamble it. He would take the money, spend the rent money, the food money, anything. He would eat up all the food in the house. And my mom did not try. She would take it out on us, if that makes sense. And
this is hierarchy. This is hierarchy.
Yeah. My mom did not like me because I know. I know. My mom did not like me because she had let her sister take care of me, and her sister puts it over her head that she's an F up, which is funny because her sister's also an F up because her husband is also cheating on her on a cruise ship. It's a hot mess. I'll say that every man, every single male, or they're not even men, every single male in my family is useless. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I love one or two. All of them. When my mom got remarried to my stepfather, I'm gonna make this story short. So every man that my mom's has ever encountered used, abused her, beaten her, and I didn't find out after she died what really happened. So my mom 3 years ago got brain cancer, and it's because what happens is my mom is like she's a codependent abuser. She abuses like half the children and the other half she won't, like, for instance, I have like a younger brother. He's always in and out of jail, and she's always asking me for money because I'm the responsible one. I cut that off years ago. I had another little sister who also has 6 kids right now. She's only 24. I have another sister Oh, it gets there's a lot. She's 24. Her last, she can't have any more kids because the last her uterine lining is so scarred that they actually had to take out her ovaries because she had so many cesarean C-section. She had her first child at 13, and my mother, when my little sister got pregnant, we had all the males in the family was going to kill the guy because the guy was 37. My mom was like, no, don't kill him. The child needs a father. And the next thing you know, he got moved in to our living room, and my stepfather at the time did not like it. None of us liked it. He went out and got drunk. It was just a hot mess. And
you see
my
how
mom
these mammies facilitated.
But the thing is that my mom is not, I wouldn't say she's a mammy as much as she was created to be that way, because she was raised by her sister. There was no structure. No one taught her how to love herself. No one taught her how to value herself. No one taught her what a real man was, because every man she's encountered abused her, raped her, drugged her. My first stepfather, he locked us all in the living room, tied my mother up, beat her, tie her up with a foam cord and beat her. And we were trying to break the door down to get to her because he's like that. Like, and the thing is, it just was a back and forth. She wouldn't let him go. And then when she met the second guy was a pervert, Dusty.
Let me tell you this before you keep going. No matter how a woman got there, if she's a mammy, she's a mammy. No matter how she got there, unless she gets away from that shit. So if you identify the problem and don't fix it, then what are you? A mammy.
She died because of it. And I'm not gonna get into other stuff. This is what happened. The kids that she was taking care of that are bad, they were sucking her dry because they would drop all their kids off of her. There's 11 grandkids, by the way. So that, and my stepfather was abusing her. So one day she just didn't wake up. Took her to the hospital. She had stage 4 brain cancer. My stepfather was trying to pull the plug immediately. I didn't understand because there's certain things I wasn't privy to because I'm a black sheep. I was not really. I moved away from my family when I was 18. So I'm gonna fast forward. She dies, right? It turns out my stepfather did not pay anything to the funeral. That her ex-husband, who tied her up, is the one that paid the $10,000 to bury her. He had life insurance on my mother, took that and married abroad in Boston, Massachusetts. Oh, by the way, while she was sick and dying in the hospitals, he was cheating on her, and he wanted all. Yeah.
This is not even surprising.
And the messed up part is I thought that I was getting away from these habits because when I moved, I saw all this degeneracy and I thought I was doing better, but I ended up having the same issue too, because I ended up, I had a 7-year relationship with, those educated lames that in the beginning, they act like they're good people.
I say all of them are like that. It doesn't matter if this motherfucker is a vagabond or a college graduate. This motherfucker is a dusty if he came from one of these.
He used me when I first met him. He was at the lower part of he was a civil servant. I built him up to a supervisor. All of a sudden he has money. Lord. He acting like he's like, oh, you don't look like the class of woman that I want. You don't look. I'm like, nigga.
Your story is so identical to everybody else's story. I'm not surprised. And then the educated lane part, when you said that you got with one, I'm like, oh hell no, I didn't expect.
He said he's not like other. He's not like other black men.
You want to know how you know a black man is lying? His lips are separated.
Yeah, you're right about that. He actually did a number on me. Actually, he emotionally, physically, and financially abused me. It took me years to get out of it. We saved up money together to get a house. Now, at the time I was living in Brooklyn, New York, and the house is like $500,000. This nigga went to the sign-in by himself, bought the house, put his name on a deed, and left me out of it. Yeah, then his whole family ganged up on me and kicked me out after they used me for 7 years.
After growing up the way you did, are you gonna say that you're surprised that happened? Come on, sis. You know you weren't surprised, right?
I thought that I escaped because I thought he was a good man and the family liked me, only to realize I was being used as a mule and a placeholder for him to get up in the system. And once he got his money, he throws me out the door. And that right there, I almost stabbed him.
Shaw, do you play the lottery every week?
Hold on, check this out. Check this out. Hold on, but honest to God, we all divested here. We all know, but we all were, mammies, maybe pick-me's or handmaidens at one point or another. I hear, and check this out. I hear that. Listen,
Not me.
You might have been. I was a big old hotep. I was a huge hotep, right? And I swore up and down. I didn't take any crap from men, but I swore up and down the system was out to get them. They're very good at marketing. That's another thing I want to bring up. Black men, if they could do anything, they know how to like handle their image and how to like market themselves to make themselves like very sympathetic. And so what I'm hearing, like the sister, she's talking about how they were together and, we were all young at one point and we were inundated with these messages like, you got to build a man up. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to be a ride or die. Right. And if you just leave him or what they do to you, if you're not willing to date a black man or, who is on the come up, then that means there's something wrong with you. Right. So we internalize this and we find ourselves in these situations where we do, find a man who we like and then we help him out, right? Expecting him to do the right thing, And by the way,
Nina, you have no basis for thinking that they're going to do the right thing. You don't have any.
I know that now.
You get what I'm saying?
I know that now.
Okay.
We don't. We know that now. I'm right there with you. But here's the thing. We've all been conditioned to that point where it's like, and it starts in the home. Like the other young lady who she brought up, like she's West Indian. And another young lady brought up that it's just Black culture, period, where we socialize our daughters to take care of these boys, and it crosses over into our relationships. So I'm just glad that like she could look back and like reflect and I'll never go there again. But I'm not necessarily mad because this is what they put on us, and this is what they say. Like, if you don't want to do this, they compare us to other races of women. And another point I want to make. If someone were willing to help me when I was at my lowest and help me get my money up and all of that, this is just me. I don't know if it's a woman thing. Maybe we really are better than men. But if I were to do this person dirty after they did all of that for me, I would feel like crap. I wouldn't feel good. I wouldn't feel good about myself. That's on me. Like, that's an L for me. Like, I don't know about you. Like, how would you handle it if someone actually helped you get to that level?
Oh, see, I don't do any transactions with black men. I mean, if he was going to help, I wouldn't know. But as soon as I saw his goddamn face, he's going to get out of my face, no matter what his intentions
I hear that. I just bring that up to like, because we were also talking about the guilt thing, right? And there's a lot of guilt going on in the chat and with Black women when we deal with these Black men and we look back at, what we've allowed to happen to us, or we think we allowed to happen to us. But what's really happening is you were trying to be what you thought was a good woman to what really wasn't a good man.
So
I just want to make a final point real quick, and then I'm just going to jump off and let someone else speak. Because I'm in therapy and I cut all of my family members off, I was able to get out of debt. I'm actually in a positive. My credit score is damn near 800. The medication is working. Oh yeah, it only took a couple of years. There's more to it. I was always the one that everyone come to for money. I was the bank of the family because I was always the responsible one. Also, just to put that in there, I was also molested by family members too, by my brothers, and people in the church and people in school. But it's all around. It's like, let's just say that the whole Black experience just messed me up, and that's why I have 3 different types of mental illness. But it didn't stop me because I've accomplished a lot. I've done a lot of things a lot of my family members would have never done. And right now I'm doing great. I'm staying the hell away from Blackistan. I just need to move out of this neighborhood. And I just need to figure out how to make more money so I can buy a house somewhere else. Other than that, what your platform represents, I wish you was around when I was 18 I really,
I do
it was,
too. Listen, when y'all sitting up here talking about y'all helping men and all this other stuff in your past, that screen that you see right there, that's me on the other end of the damn phone, losing my fucking mind, listening to black women talking about they helping black men and educated lane. And I used to be a hotep. Y'all, come on now, knock it off. Any of you young
I'm
girls out
done.
there, listen,
I'm
don't
never
do
doing
it.
it again.
Don't do it. Y'all got too
It
many
almost
receipts.
cost me my life. I'm not doing it again. It almost cost me my life because the last dude I was with literally almost took me out because I lost a $500,000 investment in 7 years of my 20s to this nigga. And I really wanted to stab him, but my friends was like, don't do it because you'll go to jail. Like, I know that, like, that's my 20s. You took that from me. I could have been elsewhere. And the thing is, he knew that I had the potential to make a lot of money. I was his manager and his hoe, basically. And I didn't even get paid. If you're gonna use me as a hoe, pay me, motherfucker.
I gotta take it back. Y'all got to stop interacting with these niggas ever for anything. There's nothing you can do to change them. Nobody can do anything to change them except a cop if he squeezes a trigger. Dead ass serious. That's the only way you're gonna change one of these dudes. That's a fact.
Yeah, and you know.
Anyway, DZ, thank you for everything. I'm gonna jump off. I'm sorry, girls. I'm acting up. Anyway, good night, everyone, and thanks for listening to my story.
Good night.
Bye.
Night,
DZ. Good night.
Oh,
So,
can I bring up
you
this?
know,
Oh, sorry.
speaking of fathers, DZ, so you know about my father being a surgeon and still leaving my mom and me when I was 7. And yes, my parents were married. And yes, my father was a surgeon. So it doesn't matter how much or how little education they have, they still do the cicada thing.
Yeah.
Can I, along those lines, I also, sorry. Someone...
I'm going to hop off so someone else can get in.
Can I take this one before I let you go?
Sure.
Because I wanted to bring, because I don't know who, I think it was Nina. She was the one that brought it up about how she where she mentioned about feeling guilty about doing someone dirty, and you know that brings up to the point is like I never. There's someone that brought it up about how she
Go ahead. Her mic was unmuted when she jumped up here. Keep going.
Sorry. No, sorry. It's like that is so true because when it comes to black men, they are known for backstabbing people on the back. Like they're very treasonous. But when it comes to the women, they're always the one that's helping to build up someone's career up. So I just wanted to mention that because like that's a good point. The men always backstab each other, which is why they always say I don't trust these niggas and blah blah blah. I just want to mention that. That's all.
Yeah, but they expect you to trust them. Welcome, Lux.
Yeah. Oh. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, what you got to add?
Can I just? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can go.
You anxious, girl. Okay, you'll go, Lux, after Nina. We got you, Nina. Go ahead, honey.
I'm sorry. No, because when something like really peaks, like gets the neurons pumping, I just got to say something. So both of those ladies brought up something I wanted to bring up. First off, the first lady said her dad was a whole surgeon and up and left her and her mother when she was 7 years old. That's another thing. And as far as the guilt thing, we have to get like these black men when it comes to like guilt and when it comes to like, freeing yourselves from guilt to the point where you could just make the most selfish decisions. We have to get to a point where they literally live for themselves. You have a whole child and you have a whole career and you just was in the moment and just felt the need to leave. And then, she brought up the whole guilt thing. I don't know what it is, what type of spell they cast on us, when we're little girls, but we feel like we really do owe the collective.
Well, we have to stop this nonsense because there's been BWE for the past almost 13 years now. So at some point we have to say, hey, this girl is 38 years old. So that means we've been around since she was 28. If she's still doing bullshit with these niggas, then she gonna stay a mammy because they got more receipts than what we had even. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want to go all the way down history and then provide them with an excuse to be a mammy. So they find them niggas. How did they find Kevin Samuels? Because they went searching for him and searching for his info. They don't look for us and they stay mammies. It suits their narrative when they say, well, I didn't know y'all existed. Honey, you knew negative black men existed. So you need to find the other end of that. So
you know who tried to play that shit too? Oh, excuse my French. Sorry. Who tried to play that stuff? You know that chick, that whole like the perpetual surprise. That's what KST calls it. Like when black women try to play dumb. Like there's a content creator, we all know who she is, FH. That's what I'm gonna say. And she was discussing the Ralph Richard Banks book, like is marriage for white people, and she's like, oh well, I never really heard of this book. And I'm like, you lying heifer, like you've been doing this work for years and you never heard of it. So yeah, on one hand, we have a lot of young girls on the panel though. Huh?
You have to stop providing them with an excuse. Okay, because we've been in it way too long now. So I say anybody that's 30 and up, honestly, they don't have a legit excuse as to not seeking divestment. They should be seeking divestment by now. There's some girls that are 14, 15 years old. They're just finding us. But anybody that's old enough to get good car insurance, you know about divestment because we've been around since you was 15. You just ignoring it because you want some shit log. That's what you're looking for.
And guess what? These types of women always have some advice for you. They always have some sage advice to give you, but you ain't find out. You didn't find out yet. You don't know what time it is yet with them, with the black community and these knickknacks, quite frankly. But you always have some sage advice. You always want to tell some, especially these younger girls. They always in a young girl face, like, oh, well, you should do this. You should dress this way. You should do this. You shouldn't put that man on child support. Boo boo. But
BWE is Black Women Empowerment. Nina, I'm gonna let Lux jump in here now.
Okay. Thank you, Divested Zealot. You're welcome. I just want to say, before I get into anything, that I really just love your channel because I swear that like you have the same person. I have the same personality. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I just the noise went off, and I just love your jokes. Like I love your humor. To all the women that's been, a victim of molestation and abuse, I really just. My heart really weeps, and I just hope you guys find peace. That video, that clip that you showed of that woman with that literally almost got to me because it reminded me of my sister. My sister is a mammy. We both grew up not in any type of hood situation, but the culture doesn't really it's everywhere. It's influential everywhere.
Hood is global. Hood is global with black folks.
Exactly. And I never been molested, but I felt uncomfortable by black men ever since I was like my daughter's age. I was like around 6. I've always felt uncomfortable around them because my cousins, like, they would make sexual jokes. They'll be really creepy. They'll tell me that I'm beautiful, I have nice skin, but it just felt really like inappropriate. And I just always got that experience from close family friends too. Like not friends of me, but friends of my family. Like they weren't related to me in any way, but they were just around because I don't know why, but they were around. And this is when I used to go to New York all the time because I have family there. Now my whole entire family, both my mother and father's side, is from Jamaica. My mom, didn't like New York. She just didn't like the vibe there. She's more of a country person. So she moved to PA. Nowhere near Philly, just Pennsylvania.
You can tell me about a Dusty or what's?
I'm sorry, I'm just getting I just wanted to say about the molestation thing.
Okay. Because I was trying to follow you.
I'm sorry. I just heard everything while I was trying to get in, and I just wanted to address.
Okay.
relate to but I'm just actually getting to the point of mammies. That's my main thing because when I saw that, it just reminded me of my sister. Like she deals with these I don't want to say the A word, but she deals with these guys, and she doesn't look like that, but she looks bad after dealing with them and fighting with them, and it makes me sad. Like we're the same age, we're kind of like twins, we're Irish twins, and I just I don't like black men, but she does, and
she's going to get to the point where you're going to have to divest from her too, because male identified black women are dangerous as fuck.
Yeah, they are. My older sister's like that too, and she's obsessed with African men, and they treat her terrible. I've never, got the appeal to these guys. I've always hated them ever since I saw the movies, like Tina Turner movie when I was a kid. And I always saw like the abuse in Color Purple. I never got the appeal, but my sisters did. And like my mom married a white man, even though she was kind of a mammy. She's just a hypergamous mammy. Like she didn't see things going well with black men. So
good eye, mom.
Yeah, she married this white guy. I was like 12 or something. She married him, and she always loved black men. Like she never she was always bragging about them around. She's just always like that. I don't know why. And
she's a black woman raised around black folk. It's programming. You just have to break the shit when you get old enough.
Oh, I never was influenced by it. Me and my mother and my sisters, I do love them. That's as far as me feeling any sympathy towards mammies. I don't really like them. I made friends with a few of them who were backstabbers when I was in college, just because they don't really mammies. It goes deeper than them being brainwashed. They're the mothers. They're naturally like that. They don't even I have a biracial daughter, and every time, mammies usually don't have friends long because they're always scheming and trying to get over on their friends, competing with them for these black men. So
black culture is toxic. Black culture is toxic. It doesn't matter if you have a coochie or a shit log. You're toxic if you're part of that community, no matter where you're from.
This mammy I used to be friends with, she knew I don't like these men, and she always had resentment towards me. She'd always get into these little arguments about black people, and I would always stand my ground. You're not going to change it. I'm in the community to say my opinions about it, and you're not going to change it. So we were friends throughout the years. Sometimes we get past our differences, but long story short, with
hold on, Lux. I'm gonna let Miss Pearl jump in here because it seemed like you got a lot to say, and I don't know where you're going with it. Miss Pearl, did you want to jump in, hon?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, I have recently found your channel last year around November, October, so I'm glad this channel is up. And since everybody's talking about how their siblings or relatives got molested and how they have gotten molested, I might as well tell my story. My bad.
Okay, you got a lot of background noise too, baby girl.
Do you hear it?
Yeah, it sounds like you hiding from Mike Myers or something.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Freddy Krueger coming, girl. Hide in the goddamn closet.
Is it okay now?
It's probably just a connection. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, so I used to live in Harlem, but because of family issues, I live in Brooklyn, and I haven't seen my half sisters in over years because of situations involving our mothers and our father. So now that I'm in Brooklyn, they can visit me, especially since this is their aunt's house. So one day my mom calls me and told me that she was talking to my half sister the other day, and my mom was crying, and she was just like, well, she has to tell you her story. And I didn't know what was going on until my half sister came up to me one day, and
let me ask you this real quick before you keep going. And I'm not even trying to be funny right now. Are you okay? Because it literally sounds like you're hiding up under a bed.
Oh no.
Are you good? Because I have to, because you're talking low and it seems like, you know what I mean? I just wanted to make sure you was okay. Because I got another cell phone sitting here and we can dial 911 if need be.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay. So my half sister, the older one, she comes up to me one day and she tells me that she has DID, which is dissociative identity disorder.
Right.
It's also called multiple personality disorder, and she has 15, 16 different personalities. And
did it come from some sort of abuse?
Yes, not with her side of the family, but also she was telling me about the time that she was living with us and she got molested by my 2 older brothers.
Here's another one. Every time. That's why I gotta find a way to get the real numbers on this molestation shit, because it's not a person. It's only one person that came up here tonight after we started talking about molestation that said that they were not molested, but they were made to feel uncomfortable. So these numbers are way too high. That's what the rest of my evening is gonna look like. But keep going, honey.
And for years, I thought I was the only one who had gotten molested. And at first, I didn't even recognize it was molestation, because, it was like, okay, well, why did I do that at a young age? But then again,
when you get a chance, go out and come back in. Go out and come back in, because you sound like you're saying something real important, and I don't want to miss none of that. And everybody in the chat is saying that they hear some background stuff. I honestly thought you was hiding from a monster. So go out and come back in, okay?
Okay, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine, honey. Welcome to the panel. Smoke a lot. Oh shit.
Hello.
Yes, okay. I thought you was finna be a dusty motherfucker. I thought it was on and popping at hour 2.
No, not at all.
Okay, welcome to the panel.
You, excuse me. I would have cleared my throat. I was waiting a while, so I'm sorry. So if you clear my
Miss, you okay though? Just making sure you all right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I saw you come up here a couple seconds ago, and as soon as I saw you, I clicked you on. So where were you waiting at?
It kept crashing, and here's the echo again. Okay, well, I put in earbuds, so I hope it's not echoing to you.
Earbuds always make it echo.
Okay, I just had a question for the young lady that was up here saying that she was kicked out of her own home after the boyfriend went and signed off on it.
Do you remember which
Is she still
one
in
it was? Do you remember which one it
No.
was? Okay, anybody up here got kicked out?
She was saving for a home, and then they were saving together, and they were supposed to get married.
She must have jumped. She must have jumped down.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
she's not up here anymore.
But you know what? It doesn't matter, because the point is this. I'm sorry. I'm wearing an Invisalign retainer. Let me take that out so I can say something really important. Okay, so what you all need to stop doing is letting people get away with doing stuff to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm sick of this shit. I was just dealing with a homeless man a minute ago. This is some crazy shit, right? I've been seeing this dude around my very large property for a long time. And he's creepy as fuck. He's been breaking into the sheds and stuff like that. I'm the only black person around here that will call the police. I've called on him several times. Well, this time he gets smart with me. He's creepy as fuck. Excuse my language, because I'm getting mad now.
Girl, as much as I say the F word, you ain't got to say that shit to me. Now you're...
Yes, I don't know if we can curse on here. So anyway, I'm dumping my garbage because and I'm trying to hurry up and get it out there before the garbage will come. Here he come. So I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Here we go. So there's an axe on my back porch. I just went on and picked that up. Okay, and then I'm walking back, because I'm walking back and forth. They creepy as fuck, these black dudes, these dusty motherfuckers, whatever you want to call them. So he's standing out there, so I know he see me, right? So he think he just finna sit on the side, because he knows I'm finna come back out with some more stuff. Need some help? Don't talk to me. And I had the axe in my hand. So I'm walking off, and then I just finished dumping his shit, because I'm letting them know, like, intimidation, bitch, I will cut you. I will fuck you up, and I won't care. Okay. So he said something again, which was crazy. I said, what the fuck you say to me? Girl, this whole neighbor, it was like about 7 o'clock in the morning. I know people heard I was loud. Okay, I lost it. My face had to turn about 50 shades of red. I came in the house, called the police, because he, bitch. And I said, what? Okay, I got your bitch. So I went in the house, right?
What did the cops do when they came?
Man, I said, you better get out here. And I said, you know what? I'm going to purchase me a weapon today. I actually didn't. I went and put on the gun card for it. Because they like, no, ma'am, you can't just come in here and purchase no gun like that. You can't do that. You have to. And then he told me everything that I need to do. And I did it that very day. And I called twice because he thought he was finna come back and like hang across the way that's like way far. But I can still see you, bitch. I see you.
Let me correct you if I'm. Wait, hold on. Let me mute you. Anyway, what she was saying was stop letting motherfuckers get away with bullshit in your neighborhoods. Call the police if need be. And I agree with her. Anyway, y'all, do your thing on your last thoughts. And I am going to run up out of here and go to the Discord and gossip my ass off. JoJo, you can go. If you still here. If you ain't fell asleep, Miss Thing. Because I'm getting ready to do the final thought. Yes, I agree. So boom.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead, babe. I don't got nothing to say. I'm just gonna listen to you do your final thought.
Okay, that's what's up.
Me too.
So let me share my screen.
Can I say something really, really quick?
Yes, you can, honey. Do your thing.
It should not be legal for Black men to celebrate Father's Day. I think they should get arrested if they're caught barbecuing with their kids that they only see twice a year. One when it's time to go to court, and the other when it's Father's Day when they want something out of their kids. I think it should be illegal. They should not be able to or have that freedom because they're not fathers. And if you go throughout history, they have never been fathers. They have been sperm donors that has been giving away sperm in the hood, the jungle, whatever you want to call Blackistan. They've been giving out sperm for free. That's what they are. They're not fathers. They're not dads. They are sperm donors. Okay. Most Black men are not fathers. They don't deserve the titles. Okay. They're not men neither. Okay. It should be illegal. They should get arrested if they are caught going to IHOP. Okay. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not even paying for the meal anyways, but it should be illegal. It shouldn't even be okay for them to do it. But yeah, that's all I want to say. I love you guys. Make sure you guys divest and back the blue. Back the blue, everyone. Get your stickers. Trump 2024.
Yes. Love it.
All right. Trinity says she done. I don't think JoJo's here anymore. Elle says she's done.
I'm still here.
Okay. Do your thing, honey.
I just want to say that to all the women who shared their stories, I am so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry that you're riddled with guilt. I'm so sorry that you felt that. But we need to do what we need to do to heal. Because these men have controlled us for way too long. And whoever said it, because I wasn't paying attention, who was talking. Yeah, they're sperm donors. They're not fathers. And the fact they have the gall to celebrate Father's Day, knowing that they don't do nothing for their children, is ridiculous to me.
They celebrate harder than actual dads, honestly. That's what I've noticed.
Because women cyber slurp them just for showing up at the hospital when the babies are born.
Mm-hmm.
This is I just gotta say one more thing and then we're done here. This is just gonna be an endless cycle. A Black man get up and go to work and he's getting cyber slurped. He's there and takes a photo and he's getting cyber slurped. These men are praised for breathing.
That's a fact.
I'm over it and I'm just done. Black women are always going to be hurt and just forever victims because they don't know when to say, okay, I'm done being abused.
They're holding out for change that's never going to come. Like I was telling Nina when she was up here, there is no receipts in the past that there was a time that they were different. They're never going to be different. And honestly, I'm starting to think that they know that shit. They just in for the fight because they like to be in the fight. They won't have any other excuse but to get their life together if they go ahead and divest. Divestment puts a hard goddamn onus on you in order to get your life together. If you divested, you should be living well. And they know they can't do that, so they're going to stick around and get you to try to stick around too.
Because when it comes down to divestment, one hard pill that you need to swallow is they don't care about you. You can die right now and they're not going to care. Your life as a Black woman in the Black community does not, nor will it ever matter. And they don't want to accept that.
That's a fact.
But thank you, and I'm going to hop off and let you do your closing.
All right, I appreciate you. Y'all know where I'm headed next. What you're looking at right now is a documentary that's approximately 3 years old, and it's called The Baby Mama Crisis. Today's Juneteenth, the beginning of a very long fucking weekend in Blackistan. The title in this video was 72%. In 3 short years, it gone up 4%. And I'm interested to see what the new stats are going to be. If you keep throwing your legs up the way you're doing for these dusty, crusty sons of bitches, we'll be up to 82% in no time. And for the Beckys, you already know what the problem is. You at 92%. So mind your manners. Because we know this weekend you're going to be putting up some posts. And if you praising any barely dare Dusty, you're going to get trolled because we're no longer going to sit here and say, child. No, we're going to say, use a line, bitch. You know that man ain't seen that baby since she was 4 years old, and here she is fixing to graduate high school. Start making it to where you are accountable for what has happened. If you got duped, I'm sorry that you got duped. But now, please learn from it. Stop telling people in your family Happy Father's Day knowing they were shit dads. You know that you have a 77% chance of becoming a single mother fucking with Blackistan. If I told you anything else had a 77% chance of failing, you probably wouldn't do it. So if, for example, if I told you, hey, there's a cave right there and there's a pot of gold in the back of that cave, but you have a 77% chance of a boulder falling down and fucking you all the way up. You're either going to be paralyzed or you're going to die. 77% chance. If you're going to continue to walk in that cave, whatever happens is on you. The information is out. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you anymore. Your secrets are out. And it wasn't the Black women in the divested community that told your secrets. It was actually the men you covet so hard. They don't like you. And anything that they ski off in your ass that comes out of you, they don't like that shit either. Deal with it. Accept the fact that you need to move on. We'll be here for you. But what we're not here for is the excuses. Because the excuses are old as fuck. You look dumb as fuck. And the sympathy is running real thin in every circle. The Dusties never had any sympathy for you. As a matter of fact, if you gave them a chance, if you got 4 kids right now, they're going to give you a 5th one if you let them. It's on you. Unless he took it, it's on you. Okay? I'm headed to the damn Discord because I want to talk some more shit that I can't talk on here. I appreciate y'all coming out, and I will see y'all next time. Peace. Love y'all.
Love you, DZ. Thank you, ladies. Have a good night.
Bye. Have a good one.
You too, honey.